When Glen Campbell passed away, millions mourned the loss of the country music legend whose voice had defined generations. Yet, amid the tribute songs and heartfelt memories, a storm quietly brewed, one that centered on his estate, his fortune, and the children he left behind. Rumors swirled that some of Campbell's kids were excluded from his millions, sparking debates, lawsuits, and heartbreak that seemed to overshadow his legacy. But behind the headlines lies a story far more complex, emotional, and revealing than anyone expected. Glen Campbell's life was marked by extraordinary talent and relentless dedication. From his early days in Arkansas to the neon lights of Nashville, he carved a career that made him a household name. But fame came at a cost. Decades of touring, personal sacrifices, and the pressures of the spotlight left scars on him, and on the family he tried to hold together. Relationships strained under public scrutiny. Private conflicts went unspoken, and by the end of his life, the dynamics between him and his children were far from simple. At the heart of the controversy is his estate. Campbell, known for meticulous planning, reportedly made decisions about his wealth that shocked those closest to him. Some children were set to inherit substantial portions, while others received little or nothing. Initially, the news seemed cold, almost cruel. Fans wondered, why would a father of 8, who loved music and family so fiercely, turn his back on his own children in his final will? But the truth, as it unfolds, paints a very different picture. Family insiders suggest that Glen's decisions were not born of favoritism or spite, but of caution and protection. Years of public exposure had taken a toll on his children, and some faced personal struggles that made him wary of sudden financial windfalls. Glen reportedly feared that unprepared heirs might mismanage the wealth he had spent a lifetime building. There was also the shadow of legal battles, past divorces, and estrangements that required careful navigation. In many ways, his will was less about exclusion and more about safeguarding a legacy that could endure beyond short-term disputes or impulsive choices. Yet the emotional consequences were unavoidable. Some of his children have publicly expressed feelings of hurt, betrayal, and confusion. Social media amplified their voices, creating a ripple effect of judgment and speculation that only deepened family tension. Behind closed doors, conversations were likely difficult, filled with explanations, regrets, and attempts at reconciliation that the public never saw. The drama is compelling, but it also serves as a stark reminder that wealth can complicate love, and even the strongest familial bonds can fray under pressure. The contrast between Campbell's public persona and private life adds another layer of complexity. On stage, he was a storyteller, a performer who made heartbreak, hope, and joy feel universal. Offstage, he was a father grappling with flawed relationships, human imperfection, and the limitations of time. His will, controversial as it may appear, reflects the nuanced reality of a man balancing love, responsibility, and foresight. It wasn't just a legal document, it was the culmination of a lifetime of decisions shaped by experience, regret, and the desire to protect the people he loved in the ways he thought best. For some children, the financial exclusions have prompted introspection rather than resentment. They have acknowledged their father's concerns, recognizing that Glen's choices may have been guided by caution, not malice. Others, however, have openly grappled with grief and frustration, revealing the raw human emotions that wealth alone cannot soothe. It's a tension that many viewers can relate to. Even if their circumstances differ dramatically, struggle between love, expectation, and the complicated realities of inheritance. The broader lesson here extends beyond celebrity drama. Glen Campbell's story is a reflection on how families navigate legacy, trust, and communication. It highlights the challenges of reconciling personal relationships with material wealth, and shows that even in families built on fame and fortune, clarity, honesty, and empathy are essential. Without them, misunderstandings grow, emotions flare, and public narratives can eclipse private truths. Ultimately, the story of Glen Campbell's estate is not simply about money. It's about human connection, responsibility, and the choices we make when faced with love, loss, and mortality. It reminds us that legacies are more than financial, they're emotional, relational, and deeply personal. Glen's decisions, controversial though they may seem, were shaped by a lifetime of experience, reflection, and the hope that his family could endure even after he was gone in the end. The headlines may stir curiosity, anger, or gossip, but the lasting impression is more profound. Glen Campbell's children, whether included or excluded financially, share a common inheritance: the music, wisdom, and lessons of a father who loved imperfectly but deeply. His millions may be divided, but the heart of his legacy, the voice, the artistry, the resilience remains whole, echoing across generations, teaching us that some of life's greatest treasures cannot be counted in dollars,